Welcome to Baddock Abies. Each week on our show, we spotlight species from the IUCN Critically Endangered Red List. These are plants and animals with decreasing populations, nearing the edges of extinction. And so we'll share species research, information, and conservation proposals. And then we'll spend part of the show opening a space for contemplation and awe. We'll perform a soundscape of gentleness, of reflection, of delight, and maybe of grieving. Without conservation activity and significant societal shift, many of these species may not survive the 21st century. And so perhaps we might acknowledge their passage with a moment of our attention, a recognition of our kinship, and with a commitment to personal and systemic change. Thank you for listening. On today's show, we consider the Nightcap Oak. The Nightcap Oak is a critically endangered flowering tree native to eastern Australia in the northeast corner of the state of New South Wales. The Nightcap Oak's scientific name is Eidothea hardeniana, and it is an ancient species. DNA studies suggest the genetic lineage of the Nightcap Oak is over 90 million years old, dating to the supercontinent Gondwana, which split apart into South America, Africa, Antarctica, India, and Australia. The Nightcap Oak is a recently described species, meaning that it was only confirmed and accepted as a unique, distinct species in 2002. Botanists in the mid-20th century, having collected immature specimens, inaccurately categorized the species, and it wasn't until the early 2000s that new sample collection and gene studies by Peter Weston and Robert Koyman confirmed its distinct lineage. Weston and Koyman write about their work in a way that captures some of the awe that we reach for on this show. So I want to share this with you. They write, quote, "It is a large rainforest tree, and it grows in a relatively accessible place. You can drive a family sedan to within 100 meters of a couple of the trees. It is a highly significant evolutionary relic." And isn't it amazing that such a plant could evade detection until now? If the Nightcap Oak could hide so effectively, how many smaller or less distinctive, but nonetheless important plant species are still lurking in our wild places, awaiting discovery? End quote. The Nightcap Oak is a medium-sized tree growing up to 130 feet tall. It usually develops a single main trunk with a diameter of up to about 2¼ feet, though it is not uncommon for the tree to produce numerous subsidiary shoots, so branching directly from its base. Its bark is a grayish-brown hue with a flaky texture. As a sapling, when the tree is roughly less than 5 feet in height, its leaves are orange to reddish in color and are toothed, each leaf bearing 10 to 20 sharp spines. As an adult, though, the leaves become dark green with entire margins, so that means that their edges are smooth, no spikes. This is such a cool evolutionary strategy. So while the young tree is short enough to be reached by local herbivores, so ground-level browsers, it produces these spiky defenses. And then as the tree matures and its canopy grows to heights above the reach of most herbivores, the tree adapts its leaf form, prioritizing photosynthesis rather than defense. The flowers of the nightcap oak are beautiful and strange and perhaps a little silly looking. I struggle to describe them. The buds look like a starfish made of marshmallow, or like an old-timey brooch, or a spilled bottle of aspirin. Flowers are white and grow in clusters, inflorescences, of 7 to 11 individuals, with these tubular buds that open to thread-like stamen. The nightcap oak is andromonaceous, meaning a single individual tree grows both male flowers with pollen-producing stamen and bisexual flowers that have both stamen and seed-producing ovaries. The flowers are pollinated by small nocturnal beetles, and once fertilized, fruit development takes over a year, so the greenish fruits grow to roughly full size in the following December. And then once mature, over the next few months, their color shifts to a dull golden yellow, and the fruit falls from the tree in February or March. These fruits are drupaceous, so think stone fruit, like a plum. They have an exocarp, that's the outer skin, a mesocarp, that's the fleshy, fruity middle layer, with a hard, woody stone in the center, that's the endocarp, and inside the endocarp is the seed. Researchers believe that the nightcap oak's seed were historically distributed by larger mammals and birds that no longer exist in its range. And so today, primary seed dispersal relies on native bush rats. Once the fruit falls to the ground, these rats chew through the fruit and through the stone to access and feed on the seeds themselves. Chewed up seeds, obviously, do not germinate. And so successful seed dispersal for the nightcap oak is dependent upon the forgetfulness of the bush rats. The bush rats collect the fruits and store them, but some of these caches are misplaced, forgotten, allowing those seeds to potentially germinate. The nightcap oak is also capable of vegetative reproduction, so that's like resprouting. The plant regenerates new shoots and stems from existing plant tissues after above-ground parts have been damaged or destroyed. So, for example, if the branches and main trunk are lost to fire, the plant can produce new growth there at the top of the roots, at the base of the stem, at or just below the soil surface. So individual trees can regrow rather than, dying entirely, and then they can persist and propagate in this alternative, asexual way. Though I could not find conclusive documentation of its specific lifespan, multiple sources suggest that the nightcap oak could live to hundreds, perhaps even thousands of years. In the dream, beneath a near unbroken canopy of green, moonlight whispers through the foliage. And in the dream, the night beetle takes her midnight wander in the safer quiet before the rowdy chorus at dawn. And her short journey is one waymarker in incomprehensible time. She brushes against oak pollen. She brushes against oak pistil. And it begins. The oak makes sugar to offer the future in a slow fruit with an eager seed inside. From green to yellow to plummet to the forest floor, to be gathered and forgotten, and then to grow and grow. I, too, take a short walk in the moonlight in these woods. And I inhale and exhale one of the 500 million breaths of my short life. It's another gift in this ancient grove. And I ache and I marvel at the accident of being in the dream. The Nightcap Oak is native to eastern Australia, to the Nightcap Ranges. This is a mountain system located in the Northern Rivers region of the state of New South Wales. This region is part of the Gondwana Rainforests of Australia World Heritage Area, a unique bioregion home to many rare and ancient species. Specifically, the Nightcap Oak is found only along a single creek on the southern side of the Nightcap Mountains, roughly 1,000 feet above sea level, and in a less than 5 square mile area. This landscape is dramatic. It's both lush and rocky with severe terrain. Some valleys and gorges sit just 250 feet above sea level, and then there are peaks like Mount Burrell that reach over a half a mile up. The Nightcap Range is at the southeastern edge of the Tweed volcano. So this is a massive, long dormant shield volcano that erupted over 20 million years ago, profoundly shaping this habitat. And so soils here are acidic, derived from that volcanic rock. This is a warm, temperate rainforest. Warm, temperate rainforests have cooler average temperatures and greater seasonality than tropical rainforests, though with similar high humidity and rainfall. This region sees summer highs in the upper 80s and winter lows dipping into the upper 50s. Annual rainfall can exceed 100 inches. The Nightcap Oak shares its rainforest habitat with green catbird, mountain water gum, brushbox, Parma wallaby, pink cherry, strangler fig, Oliver sassafras, koala, long-nosed poodaroo, Dorigo palm, peach myrtle, rufus betong, minion quandong, Albert's lyrebird, crabapple, pale yellow robin, Australian logrunner, blueberry ash, regent bowerbird, paradise riflebird, yellow-bellied glider, giant barred frog, bushrat, coachwood, giant stinging tree, stringy bark pine, and many, many more. The most pronounced current threat to the Nightcap Oak's habitat is fire. Warm, temperate rainforests are not fire adapted. The thin-barked trees and their seedlings and saplings are particularly vulnerable to fire damage. After an exceptionally dry and hot season in late 2019, early 2020, the Black Summer fires burned an estimated 70,000 square miles of this region, affecting roughly 30% of the Nightcap Oak's known range. Fire at this scale in this habitat is rare. The Black Summer fires were the largest recorded burn in the Nightcap Ranges in over 1,000 years. And so, while fire risk in general is relatively low, fire impact is exceptionally high. These fires killed about a third of the mature Nightcap Oak population. Habitat degradation and competition also threaten the species. Invasive species like the fast-growing camphor laurel competes with the Nightcap Oak for light, space, and resources. The small range and small population size of the Nightcap Oak also makes it vulnerable, more susceptible to stochastic events. So these are like random or unlikely occurrences, like massive fires or other extreme weather or disease outbreaks. And given the small population size, the loss of even a single tree significantly affects the species' genetic diversity. And so, relatedly, human-induced climate change is an increasing threat. Human-induced climate change has shown to result in more frequent stochastic events, like extreme heat, severe drought, and wildfire. Fortunately, all of the Nightcap Oak population grows within a protected wilderness, the Nightcap Range National Park. And the species has seen significant conservation attention. It is legally protected by the Australian government, and national recovery plans and conservation action plans have been put in place. Habitat defense and restoration work is ongoing, including management of invasive species, weed removal, controlled burns, and wildfire response planning. In fact, during the 2020 Black Summer fires, National Parks and Wildlife Service firefighters were dispatched specifically to defend the Nightcap Oak, physically extinguishing fires on the ground and supported by helicopter water dumps to douse flames as they approach the plant populations. And under the guidance of the New South Wales Saving Our Species program, off-site conservation has been initiated at the Firewheel Rainforest Nursery and the Australian Botanic Garden Mount Annan. More than 500 seeds have been collected for propagation, with 50 seedlings cultivated thus far. Twenty of those seedlings have been successfully reintroduced to secret locations in protected wildernesses in the Nightcap Ranges. These translocation sites were selected with climate resiliency in mind. So these are suitable habitats, but a few hundred feet in elevation above the current Nightcap Oak range, where conservation scientists hope that the cooler air temperatures, higher rainfall, and more stable weather might allow the Nightcap Oak to persist as our planet warms. Nevertheless, the Nightcap Oak has been considered critically endangered on the IUCN Red List since 2020, and their population is currently in decline. Our most recent counts estimate that less than 115 Nightcap Oak remain in the wild. Information for today's show about the Nightcap Oak was compiled from the Australian Journal of Botany, Volume 70, from Australian Plants, Volume 21, number 172, from Ecology and Evolution, Volume 15, from The Guardian, from the IUCN, from the Journal of Ecology, Volume 93, from the New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Service, from the Nightcap Oak Conservation Action Plan, from TLOP, Volume 9, and from Wikipedia. For more information about Nightcap Oak conservation and New South Wales rainforest conservation in general, please see the New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Service at nationalparks.nsw.gov.au, or see the nonprofit Rainforest Rescue at rainforestrescue.org.au. And so here in a moment, I would like to perform some music in hopes of opening a space to be in contemplation of the other lives with whom we share our earth. I do not intend to put meaning upon or extract meaning from the Nightcap Oak. Instead, I want this music to be an expression of my awe and delight, and a moment to consider my own relationship to other life like the Nightcap Oak, in particular, as that life may near extinction. And so I will sit in the space of sound and awe and reflection, and I warmly invite you to join me. I honor the life force of the Nightcap Oak. I will commit its name to my record. I am so grateful to have shared time on our planet with this incredible being. And I lament the ways in which I and my species have harmed and diminished this species. I grieve. And so in the name of the Nightcap Oak, I pledge to reduce my consumption, my carbon footprint, and my wastefulness. I pledge to acknowledge and attempt to address the costs of my actions and inactions. And I pledge to resist the harm of plant and animal kin and their habitat by individuals, corporations, and governments. I forever pledge my song to the witness and memory of all life, to a broad celebration of biodiversity, and to the total liberation of all beings. This has been Batica Buys. Thank you for listening. Until next time, let's take care of each other and all of our kin.